Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, B Farm. Thinking right out here in my lab, and I'm still in the book. I got a nice one for you today. We're gonna get into some dualism and non-dualism. That's thinking right and thinking wrong, so to speak. Not understanding but believing. I'm gonna give you non-dualism. That's what you need to know thyself. All right, let's rock. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You win when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in, I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you, right? Thinkers, know thyself as true. Might not be true. All right, we're gonna wrap this lesson up. I got one more part to this. It's called dualism. Is egoistic belief, and non-dualism is self-knowledge. Let me break it down for you. Hopefully, you get a better understanding. Let's rock. Dualism in the human mind. We taught to think in dualistic thoughts. Okay, and dualism in the human mind can lead to what? Catastrophic events in your human experience. You get some misinterpretation, misunderstanding, and you're going to have some problems. And because your mind is trained to see either what? Good or bad. The tree of knowledge, good and evil. That's what the mind is trained to see. Okay, that's fine. But in acceptable or unacceptable, right? Wrong, good, bad, right? Critical thinking. The mind is good for that. Right hemisphere, emotions and feelings. Left hemisphere, rational logic and thinking. That's why Mayat teaches you to be what? Thinking equanimity. Use both of them to make a better decision for yourself that you can benefit and profit thereby. By making good decisions, you should be rewarded. You will be. Trust me. All right. And it says here, etc. But and not your whole of creation, which is composed of many parts. The attitudes of separation and exclusivism are exaggerated. That's because of dualistic way of thinking that you are what? Your ego, the dualistic see two, but the ego says be I. So when societal institutions such as churches, when they start to rationalize and even sanction dualistic thinking, dualism, then you have egoistic sentiments that will what? Sway over the hearts of human beings. That's the other side to them that they might not be able to control. And once he get a hold of them, that ego, once he get them, it's going to be hard to get them loose. So, in this sense, dualism and egoism, they go hand in hand. Okay? So, when you make the decision to do you over what's doing what's right, you become the devil. Just understand that concept. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. Keep that thought in mind. That's the dualistic concept. Why? If you got good, you got to have bad. And if you're the devil, you're the opposite of good. So what you should do, stop doing bad and start doing other things that would reward you and you would benefit thereby. So when your universal love and humility are replaced by egoism, Scooby-Doo, roll. Yeah, and a lot of us fall victim because it's natural. It's a natural thing. So then now it becomes possible to be able to what? Hurt others, go against nature. When people forget their common origins and destiny, they easily fall prey into that vast pit of what? Egoism. Dun, 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 dun. And seeing themselves as what? An individual. Me. I got dog eat dog world. I got to outbeat the guy. Competition. You do that to yourself. Oh, that's self-induced. Okay? So, and you're an individual in the world of what? More individuals. So instead of saying we are family, we all one, no, it's me against you. See, that mentality, that crab in the barrel mentality, I ain't getting out, ain't nobody getting out. That's ignorance all over. But you fighting a battle for your own survival, for what? For pleasures of the flesh. That's the materialistic part that people get caught up in. Everybody likes to be pleased. Everybody wants to be happy. Rather than as a divine being, who we really are, who are made of the same image, made in the same image, as with the same fatalities and potential. Meaning we can go this way or that way. Your choice. And that's what people don't understand. You made the choice, unbeknownst, I don't know, don't mean the choice you still made. You still made it. You still did it. So you're responsible for that. That's why the idea of what you on both sides, making a better choice, knowing right from wrong. And if you know right from wrong, you're going to do what? Wrong? Okay, that's intentional. Then you're willing. You got to sacrifice the consequences. You got to suffer the consequences that come with that act. This degraded condition, ignorance, opens the doors to a more deeply rooted. With ignorance, people seek to control others and nature and to what? Satisfy their own inner desires and urges through sometimes violence if necessary. And because they cannot control themselves and express their deeper needs in a constructive, respectful manner. In Indian, the Vedic tradition, duality is what they call Dvaita. It's seen as ancient Egyptian mysticism, and even in Buddhism, it's in Taoism, and creation-centered spirituality are directed toward you, the individual, developing the correct and right understanding of your human existence. Don't let somebody lead you down that path of ignorance. Broad is the road to destruction, as my mother-in-law say. So you got to get out that broad road. Go to the arduous one. That's where the truth lies. That's where the real deal is. Not there. So, and when the underlying unity behind the duality, when you finally discover that you are one, now, watch this, there can be no violence, you have no ill will towards people, you live in harmony, and you are enlightened. What your enlightenment arises when spontaneously, all of a sudden, bam, I don't do that no more. What? I changed. I'm not the same person. That's waking up. That's coming conscious. Okay. And egoism now what? Has to give way to what? Your higher self, universal love, aka Haru, the spirit in you, and peace. It has more control than the ego do, but the ego will acquiesce once you prove that I'm running the show, not you. Okay? You can't punk the ego. You got to beat them. Okay? Most people think they can. No, you got. It's gonna fight. Okay, it ain't easy. So let's get to wrap it up right here. I see the clock, but I got a little bit of time. I got something to do. I got a nice little page of information. Hopefully, it will give you a better understanding of what I mean. The legacy of non-dualism in ancient Egypt. That's where it comes from, and its influence on modern religion today can be felt even today. So the long history and the concept of non-duality out of ancient Egypt, the religion may be seen reflected in what you call Coptic church. That's the Christian concept in Egypt of modern day, but in Egypt, the Coptic church was the major Christian church in modern day Egypt. Ethiopia still has the original Bible, the Christian concepts. We've been practicing that a long time. We don't need the white man's guy. They take the lesson, but watch show you the difference. Y'all riding with the book that y'all, the Bible, but no, the white man tricked you and gave you his Bible. So the name Cop, let me break this down for you right quick. Cop is derived from, again, the Greek word from Egyptian and the Arabic Qut, Q-U-B-T, which was westernized as Cop, okay? So the origins of Egyptian Christianity, did you know that? They had Christians in Egypt. Yeah, it still is. okay? And they can be found, and they call themselves the Gnostics, okay? The Gnostic Christians, mystery schools, which developed from the Hermetic teachings out of Egypt. Tahuti, the teacher who scribed, who wrote the hieroglyphics, they got the same knowledge. They had it, okay? But they had to go on the ground with it. Why? The powers that be wasn't trying to have it. So, teaching of the Egyptian god Tahuti, my dude, in a period immediately preceding the Christian era. These schools were engendered by early Greek philosophers. Every Greek philosopher that became great went to Egypt and studied, who studied Egyptian philosophy. We had it understood as a philosophy, philosophical concept, mythological story. The Greeks are famous for what? Mythology. Where they get it from? The Egyptians. And when Alexander the Great, who conquered Egypt, and he sought to establish a city, what he called of enlightenment. Why? Because he knew it would bridge the East and the West Christianity concept, religious concept. So Alexander knew from his early instructions from who? Aristotle, who was a student of Egyptian philosophy, was the source of the most ancient. He told him Egypt was the source of the most ancient knowledge and is the repository of all the world's greatest scholarly work and the mystical philosophies all around the world. He came there, confiscated what he liked, what he wanted, and burnt the rest. Education right there, that's all. I will never call him Alexander the Great. Alexander Numbnuts. Okay, that's what me and my mind call it, because I feel the same way. You just took away everybody's ability to get information knowledge because you didn't like it. Moving on. So thus you got the Greeks under Alexander, Numbnuts, and he sought to appropriate and adopt the ancient Egyptian tradition. He wanted to be a pharaoh. They made him one and put him in the back of the dark, but he got his stuff on the wall too. Okay, he wanted to make the Hall of Fame. Okay, in Egypt, you get your cartouche, you get your face and your bust there. He got one, and he had been learning from the previous 5 centuries. That means we've been doing this before 5 centuries before we come along. And what's this? The time of Thales was the first recognized Greek philosopher in circa 700 BCE. If we started at 10,000, and y'all come around 700 BCE or 1000 BCE, y'all and got a whole lot of stuff that y'all don't know. And y'all don't profess. Why? Y'all just take what y'all got and moving on. So in order to carry on the mystical tradition of the Egyptians, along with Egypt, tradition of Egypt, along with the highest technological advances, these Gnostics, Hellenists, that means they believe in God, they understood it, but there was Noahs. They didn't believe it, but the Hellenistic, they intermixed with who? The Jews living in Alexandria. We share the lands. Okay, we started to intermingle. All right. That's why the Jews don't like to mix outside their race. If you marry outside of Judah, you got to go. You're not letting outsiders in. Okay? And that was in northwest Africa, in Egypt. North was called Lower Egypt. In the next 3 centuries, notable Christian philosophers would emerge out of where? Alexandria, who would exert a strong influence on your early Christianity and later caused the separation of the Egyptian Christians. You ever heard that? You ever heard of a Christian, Egyptian Christian? I didn't. Now, from Rome, from Roman and the Byzantine Christians. So we had separation way back then with the Christian concept, obviously. So watch this. But these included Clement of Alexandria, Orion, whoever he is, Arius, ancient Egyptians who adopted Greek ideas, styles, or culture. They mimic enemies, so to speak. But let's talk about the debates in church over who had the true and correct understanding of Christ. You and y'all might have to put your seatbelts on. It's about to get a little rough for y'all. It's called Christology. Yeah, there was Christ before Jesus. 16 of them to be exact, I think, before he's the last. Okay, let's talk about it. So they had to get together to find out who had the true and correct understanding of Christ. We call it Christology. And this led to what? Dun, 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 dun. Separation of the church. In Egypt, the Coptic church and the churches of Rome, of Constantinople, which is the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, respectively. One said this, other said that. He Protestant, he's Baptist, he's whatever y'all, how y'all do it, break it down, different denominations. Y'all been doing that a long time. Okay, so the majority of the Egyptian Christians refused to go along with the decrees of the Council of Chalcedon in 451 BCE. This is after Byzantine, in the 325, they came back 100-something years later, they're going to institute their concept. 451 BACE, they defined the person of Jesus, watch this, the Christ, as being one in two natures. What the hell is that? Let's find out. This doctrine of two natures seemed to imply that we have a black Christ and a white Christ. Let's see. So it seemed to imply that the existence of two Christs. How the hell? Calm down. The idea of two Christs existed. One being divine. Which one is that? And the other being human. Which Christ do y'all celebrate, Christians? Which Christ, which human, what the hell, what's that about? So you got the Egyptian Christians who refused to follow the Council of Chalcedon and face charges of what? Monopolization. Monophysism. Monotheism is a belief that what? Christ has only one nature rather than two. You paying attention? It is notable that the Council of Chalcedon, the dualistic view, here we come in, was accepted both in Constantinople and even in Rome, but not in Egypt. We ain't playing that nonsense, okay? Thus, we see that the dualistic view of Christ was developed and promoted out of Europe under the Roman Church in the Middle East under the Church of Constantinople, Byzantine Empire. That was in 325 ACE. And it was the Copts of Egypt who sought to uphold the non-dualistic view, one Christ, which viewed him as an all-encompassing being, which was absolutely divine, while at the same time expressing in a human form. I'm going to be like MC Hammer. I ain't going to touch that. I'll let you make your own decision. So this is due to the tradition of what the ancients known non-dualism, which the Egyptians of the earlier Christian era assimilated from the ancient Egyptian mystery schools. So the Coptic Church was nominated by the Electoral College of Clergy and Laity. The Coptic Church has survived up to the present in Egypt. There are only 7 million Coptic Christians known there today, and they say it's 22 million in total throughout the world. Those original believers of Christ, the one Christ. All them other people, I don't know what they was trying to do, but they had another one. So, wrapping it up with this. Now, it is appropriate here. I just gave you all the information. You can do with it what you might. But here you place what we know, non-duality, one God, one Christ, in the context of the world philosophies and religions. This will help you to even better understand the teachings and how it is being expressed even today in modern times. Take a good look at what they're presenting to you, what they're saying, and pick through the nonsense. Okay, see the holes in that Swiss cheese. There's a bunch of them. All you gotta do is look and you'll see. That's what I did. I don't do this. I don't do religion. Simple as that. All right. So in closing, right thinkers, hope you enjoyed the lesson. In closing, may you all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I've never known my right thinkers who now understand Dualism and egoistic belief versus non-dualism is knowing self-knowledge. You pass away. Know thyself. Gain self-knowledge. And get the right interpretation and understanding. That way you can benefit and profit thereby. Trust me.